Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Sir Thomas More, and today we get to hear from Doll Williamson in what some versions call Act 2, Scene 5, and what other versions call Act 3, Scene 1. But this is the scene where the Londoners who were rioting in the streets are being sentenced, or have been sentenced, and those sentences are being carried out. Remember, Sir Thomas More was able to talk all of them out of being rioting and said, you know, if you turn yourselves in, I will plead for clemency to the king on your behalf. So they all sort of very peacefully went off to prison. He went off to talk to the king. Meanwhile, he gets knighted, he gets put on the Privy Council, all of that. And then Act 3, Scene 1, or Act 2, Scene 5, however you want to refer to it, that we're in today, we find out that he wasn't necessarily successful, and all of these people have been sentenced to die anyway. So a couple of the other sheriffs are putting up the gallows, and then there's too many people there in order to get the prisoners out in the cart, so they have to just chain the prisoners together and march them to the gallows. And John Lincoln was nominated to be the first one to die, so he gave a very nice last words type speech in yesterday's monologue, and then he jumped himself. Instead of waiting to be pushed, he jumped off the platform to be hanged. And then Doll Williamson was like, please let me go second, because I don't want to outlive my husband. I couldn't handle that. And Clown Betts was like, can I just not have to die at all? And they're like, yeah, right. So they start bringing Doll Williamson up to be hanged, and she's like, you know, I'll go ahead and do this because I know that I'm supposed to do this, but you know, if it wasn't for Sir Thomas More, if he had kept his word, then you know, we wouldn't be here and Lincoln wouldn't be dead right now. And one of the sheriffs is like, yeah, but he has other things going on now. He's now on the Privy Council, and he's now you know, Sir Thomas More, he's been knighted. And Doll Williams says, well, is he worthy of it? By my troth. An honest, wise, well-spoken gentleman. Yet I would praise his honesty much more if he had kept his word and saved our lives. But let that pass. Men are but men, and so words are but words, and pays not what men owe. You, husband, since perhaps the world may say that through my means thou comest thus to thy end, here I begin this cup of death to thee, because thou shalt be sure to taste no worse than I have taken that must go before thee. What though I be a woman? That's no matter. I do owe God a death, and I must pay him. Husband, give me thy hand. Be not dismayed. This chair being chaired, then all our debt is paid. Only two little babes we leave behind us, and all I can bequeath them at this time is but the love of some good honest friend to bring them up in charitable sort. What masters! He goes upright that never halts, and they may live to mend their parents' faults. So she starts out a little snarky there, saying, you know, like, yes, Sir Thomas More is a wonderful, upstanding man, which I would talk in more depth about if he had actually been able to keep his word and save all of our lives. But then she turns to her husband and says goodbye to him and says, you know, I know that it's probably at least partially my fault that you're here, because remember, she was egging him on before. He didn't necessarily want to go and do all of this, but she's like, come on, you know, put your big boy pants on and let's go take care of all this. She was the one that like showed up in armor to be ready to go to the riot. So she's like, you know, I'm sorry, husband, that it has come to this because of me, but this is, you know, we're going to wipe the slate clean with this, and our children, who now are going to have to be raised by somebody else, will be able to carry on our name and go on to lead good lives. And he takes her hands and he says a little farewell, and she's like, you know, the next time we kiss, it's going to be in heaven, and here we go, ready to do this. And then we hear from the back of the crowd somebody shouting like, pardon, let Surrey through. And the Earl of Surrey comes hurrying through, and he's like, wait, stop all these executions, they've all been pardoned. And they're like, Lincoln's already dead. And he's like, okay, so we can't save him, but we can save everybody else, because Sir Thomas More did beg in front of the king for clemency for all of these people, and the king thought that it was such a great speech and he made such legitimate points that now he's the Lord Chancellor and all of these people have been pardoned. And so, of course, everybody is very, very happy about that. And Del Williamson is like, oh, that's Sir Thomas More. He's such a great guy. And then the Earl of Surrey is going to have some more to say, but we will get to hear that in the form of a monologue tomorrow. I'll see you then. Mwah.